Kephart was a librarian during a period when library science was pretty new, and he spent 20 years writing about the woods. He was the most influential outdoor writer of his period, and he conglomerated what he knew into this book, which is the Book of Camping and Woodcraft. And almost any question that you have still, 100+ years later, can be answered in here. And a few years ago, or a year or so ago, a good friend of mine came into possession of the only known Kephart designed knife that was not in the museum at Western North Carolina University, which is where Kephart's stuff is. And I was resistant because I'm essentially cheap and wasn't sure I wanted to spend that much money on a knife. And then my good friend Mark Zaleski, who runs Knife Magazine, brought it down here and let me cut something with it. And when I first had it and I cut something with it, I went, damn, 100 years, never been sharpened, and it wants to cut. And the reason I got excited over this rather unprepossessing looking knife is the subtleties in this blade are incredible. And I've always felt that a flat, relatively flat handle gave the best way of figuring out how to index the blade so that you know exactly where the blade is. And it's rounded without being flashy. It was they were handmade at the Colclusser Brothers factory in Pennsylvania. But it's a doubly convex blade with a nice tapered tang, and it feels live in your hand. It has a great feel, great balance, and it just works. It works as well as any knife I've ever had in my hand. And I want everybody to experience what I've experienced with this blade, because it works. This is the K-bar iteration of the iconic Kephart knife. And they have been very careful to do virtually as good a job as get it as close as possible as anybody can get to a knife that was in production, hand forged one by one in a fairly primitive manufacturing facility where people were still pounding them out with a hammer. And it has the nice relief at the top. It's full height ground, which gives it a very slicey, a tremendous amount of slice. It has a slightly tapered tang, just like the original, which helps for the balance. It indexes extraordinarily well, and there's no place you're going to get hot spots. You can work this knife for hours. Many of the copies of the Kephart are based on the one at Western North Carolina University, because it was the only one anybody knew about. And it doesn't look like this anymore because it was sharpened to death. But this one is based off the only known example outside the museum, and that knife is virtually pristine. So this is as close as I think anybody can get to the original Kephart.
This is the Terracraft from Gerber. Bushcraft demands more out of a knife than any other activity. Whether it's starting a fire or building a shelter, this US-made fixed blade is ready to take it on. We used extra thick S30V steel and full tang construction to provide enhanced durability in the field. Our CNC machined G10 scales offer multi-grip ergonomics. Baseball grip, precision grip, and chest lever grip. The hand-sanded profile mitigates hot spots during use and provides a 90-degree fire striking edge on the spine of the blade. It's also got through-hole rivets, which can be used for tethering in a pinch, and a hammer-ready pommel. It's available in 2 colors. The American-made sheath extends use and ensures safe transport. Wherever the pioneering spirit takes you, this full-size fixed blade delivers confidence in any situation and will stand the test of time.
I'm the design supervisor here, and one of the knives that we introduced this year at SHOT Show is the 863 Selkirk. This is a mid-sized knife that has great features and allows you to use it in rugged conditions. One of the key things of any knife of this size is that it has a 4 5/8 inch blade. The overall weight is 7.6 ounces. The blade is full tang construction all the way through. It features a solid guard up front and a pommel strike surface on the back to use as a hammer in light duty conditions. The blade is 420 high carbon, flat ground, and a drop point blade. It has jimping near the handle for good control. And then with any fixed blade knife, a key part of how that knife is used is how it's carried. So we've created a plastic molded sheath system that allows you to snap it into place. And along with this sheath, one of the added features is a striker whistle component that allows you to create a spark and also to signal in case of an emergency or to gather other people in your group together. So this works in combination with the knife to create sparks. So we've put a notch on the bottom of the blade instead of the back where you would put your thumb. And we don't necessarily want you using the edge of your blade because that would dull it for the uses that you need. So we've got this little notch that's sharp there, and it will spark and create the sparks you need to light your tinder and get a fire going. So with this sheath, we can put our striker and whistle back in and our knife back together. And so we've created it so that you can carry it in lots of different positions. Some people like carrying it high on their waist. Some people like carrying it a little bit lower. And it's set up, this one is set up for vertical carry. So we've got a belt loop here. And we also incorporated another feature on this belt loop. People have different size belts. And so to prevent the sheath from sliding up and down when you're pulling the blade out, we've got a spacer in here, and it can go in one of 3 positions. So if you have a very narrow belt, you can use it, or if you have a wide belt, you can take it out. This one is set up for horizontal carry. And so it's a matter of unmounting those components and rearranging them and putting them into the configuration that best suits you. I've even seen somebody take this and set it so that it works at an angle. So if you like to do things in a cross draw situation at a slight angle, it can be configured that way as well. So that's the 863 Selkirk from Buck Knives.
The Morakniv Bushcraft Survival Black Sea is a heavy-duty knife with multifunctional features. The spine is ground to a 90-degree sharp angle, making it compatible with the fire starter that is integrated in the sheath. The 3.2 mm thick blade is made of carbon steel and has a DLC coating that to some extent protects against rust. Keep in mind though that carbon steel needs to be maintained, so make it a habit to wipe your knife and oil the blade after using it. Keep your knife sharp with a diamond sharpener that is attached to the sheath.
This is the Schrade SCH F55 Mini Frontier Full Tang Fixed Blade Knife. Designed by Brian Griffin as a compact bushcraft and utility blade tough enough to handle an array of everyday tasks. The SCH F55 is forged from a single piece of 1095 high-carbon steel that is coated with a durable and frictionless PTFE. The SCH F55 features a razor-sharp 3.5-inch fine-edge blade that excels at everything from detailed carving and drilling tasks to batoning logs in order to access dry firewood. The primary bevel extends to the spine of the blade, allowing the SCH F55 to glide effortlessly through wood when performing slicing tasks, such as carving feather sticks. The Frontier-style drop-point design provides a durable precision point for drilling or punching holes. The black Grivery handle slabs allow for a comfortable all-day grip while also minimizing hot spots and fatigue. Forward handle flares combine with jimping on the spine of the knife to further enhance grip and performance. The notched and rounded pommel of the SCH F55 makes short work of scraping bark for use as fire tinder and natural cordage. The SCH F55 arrives ready for action in a multi-carry option black glass-filled nylon belt sheath. The removable rubber belt loop allows the SCH F55 to be belt carried or effortlessly attached to gear in a variety of different configurations. Ready for your next adventure, crafted from premium materials and built for a lifetime. This is the Schrade SCH F55 fixed blade all-purpose knife.
Today at CRKT we are taking a look at the Saker. This is an Abe Elias design. It's a bushcrafting knife, a beautiful piece and also highly functional. The overall length on it is 9.1 inches. The blade length is 4.5 inches. It has a true Scandi grind right there. That's going to be useful in the woods, getting bushcrafting tasks done. Just a beautiful piece, well ground. You can see right here on the spine of the blade that is a right angle. So if you want to throw sparks off of that with a ferro rod, it's going to be very useful for that. The handle scales are walnut, just a beautiful brown walnut, and they are riveted to the full tang blade, meaning that that blade comes all the way, that piece of metal, piece of steel comes all the way to the end. You can see there's a lanyard hole there, and it is an oversized lanyard, so if you're going to be able to thread paracord through there, and maybe even a small rope if you needed to, so a lot of things you can do there. It's very ergonomic in hand. That's one of the first things I noticed when I picked it up a few months ago. It just feels really nice in the hand. Very ergonomic. You're not going to fatigue when you use it. It just feels solid. Feels like you can go out and get a lot of work done in the woods. Now it comes with a sheath as well. This is a leather sheath. Slides right in there. Beautiful leather, thick leather with an oversized belt loop on it. Here's a shot of it on my belt just to get an idea of how it rides. Very nice. One last thing I want to tell you about this knife is it comes with a bushcrafting tool. Now this is kind of an Abe Elias design that comes with the bushcrafting knife. Basically what he told me is this is a tool to get bushcrafting tasks done. So you can use this top grater portion to use on a magnesium fire steel magnesium rod to get the magnesium off. You can use it for scraping like a tree branch to get finer feather sticks off of it. You can use this edge to throw sparks off a ferro rod. A lot of different things you can do here. Pull that way. And so basically he just designed it as a tool to have in the woods and have accessible. One last thing I want to show you on this, which I thought was pretty cool. He designed this portion right in here, that hole, to work for arrow shafts, for straightening arrows. So kind of a cool thing. And then he rounded those edges if you're carving out the inside of a burnout bowl, that sort of thing. So it's really a bushcrafting tool designed for whatever you can imagine. So definitely a lot of things that you could do with this tool. And it comes with the Saker knife, which is pretty cool. Kind of have the whole bushcrafting package in one if you're getting into it, or if you're a veteran in that sort of niche. It's going to be a great knife for you. It's going to be a great survival knife for getting out in the woods. So one last thing I want to show you here. Size comparison compared to a ruler, just to give an idea of how big this knife is. The overall length sits right at 9.1 inches, so it is a larger knife. So there you have it. That is the Saker, designed by Abe Elias. Thanks for watching, and thanks for carrying CRKT.